So this is week 48 of our 2019 adventure, and tomorrow is Thanksgiving in the USA. It's our national holiday where typically families gather to celebrate that they are a family and to appreciate each other and put up with all their ups and downs and to be thankful for living in a democracy. But gathering with friends and family often includes getting your buttons pushed and being reactionary. So today, let's look at how to stay in harmony with the infinite wisdom that dreamed you into being. Thanks for joining me today here at Harmony Enterprises. I'm your host, Carrie Fox, and this episode is all about looking at the things you can do to stay in harmony when your ego tries to pull you off track. And I'd like to start with mentioning that yesterday, Tuesday the 26th, was the new moon in Sagittarius. And new moons always represent beginnings, starting over, refreshing things. A new moon means the end of one cycle and the beginning of another, and this is an excellent time for a fresh start, for turning over a new leaf. And maybe it's time to question some of your old behaviors and beliefs and to step forward into a new and inventive way to make progress. And it's perfect timing for today's topic of how to stay in harmony. So, Thanksgiving tomorrow. It's a time where family members travel from all over the country to gather with their mothers and their fathers and their brothers and their sisters and their grandparents and their nieces and their nephews in anticipation of renewing the family bonds and sharing, breaking bread together, catching up, laughing about old times, all that Hallmark card stuff. But these gatherings are not always happy for everyone. There are millions who either do not have a family to gather with or do not look forward to it. It can easily turn into buttons being pushed, feelings being hurt, disappointments, and even arguments. So for those of you who attend these family gatherings knowing that you are loved and that you do love, well, God bless you. May you spread that love far and wide. However, for those of you that are in struggle or who do not feel supported by your family, who are not looking forward to or who have decided not to join in the gathering, I want to look at that today. So when you find yourself being defensive around your family, maybe afraid of being judged or confronted, and even for those of you who have no place to go, no family to bond with, and you feel deprived because of that, as this meme says, without a doubt, the main reason you suffer is because you give away your love power to the ego voice in your head. It might help here to remember love is from the heart and soul, and suffering, fear, and resentment is from your ego mind. Remembering that will often remove your fear, resentment, and feeling of being left out as you focus on your heart and on loving. You can choose to love, to be love, to experience love with absolutely no input from anybody else. So then, what if you do have family to gather with, but you do not look forward to it? Now, there could be so many reasons that might be. It could be because you have a non-loving family. And if you have created a loving family of your own away from them, well then good on you. There is nothing that says you have to go. You are blessed to be among the many, many people that have created a loving life away from a non-loving family. You have given yourself the love you seek, and the universe has sent the people who match it. Good on ya. But what if you do have a loving family, but you still don't want to go? Well, that's about the time that you need to look at why that might be. Is there a past where you behaved badly or hurt someone and you regret it but haven't shown your family that yet? Then tomorrow might be the perfect time for you to gift to them. If you can show up and show them a new and improved you, just think how wonderful that would be. Or maybe you have a loving family, but you still do not want to go. Maybe because of some judgment or slight you had that was directed at you by someone else? Have you fallen into feeling that you are the black sheep of the family? For whatever could be valid reason or not, or it could be self-imposed or not. But if you feel like the black sheep of the family, then this is the perfect opportunity for you to shed that hurt in your heart or get that chip off your shoulder, to open your heart and be willing to be loved by your family. Or maybe you have a loving family, but you're a member of the wounded woman tribe. You know, that's my tribe. I was there. And I now have a mission to help other women who feel broken or wounded and have trouble being around all those happy people because you have pain, or that you've been withdrawn and into your pain and now it's a habit that you don't know how to step out of, but you do know that it's time. You recognize that you're sick and tired of being sick and tired. As this picture says, the truth is you are worth every single ounce of love, every bit of loyalty, and every kind word, especially from yourself. So what if it's time to fall in love with taking care of yourself, to fall in love with the path of deep healing, to fall in love with becoming the best version of yourself, but with patience and with compassion and with respect for your journey? If you have a loving family, this might be the week to allow yourself to be loved. To love yourself, accept yourself, forgive yourself, be good to yourself. Because without you, the rest of us are without a source of many wonderful things. So instead of dreading the family encounter, could you start anew? Take advantage of yesterday's new moon and leave the old you with the old relationships behind you. Could you accept that love is caring for each other even when you're angry or scared? Could you decide that you can't even see all the haters because you have your love glasses on? Could you understand that your anxiety is lying to you and know that you are loved and you're going to be okay? And last but not least, if you have trouble staying out of that feeling wounded place, step back and take a look around your family and those gathered there, and open your perception to someone else who might also be feeling feeling alone or a little cast out. If somebody else who's not joining in. It could be anybody, from a child to a teenager in angst, or an elder who's just not joining in the festivities. I want to suggest you be brave. Open your heart and go be with them. Make the decision to love, to share your grace upon someone else who needs it. Find out if they need anything. Find out if they would like to just maybe have a conversation. Gift them with the presence of your most wonderful and kind self. Maybe just sit there with them, because giving, more than any other action or any other way to be in the world, will create more love in you. As the picture shows on the left, the most effective medicine here on earth is unconditional love. And love isn't a state of perfect caring. It's an active noun like struggle. To love someone is to strive to accept that person exactly the way he or she is, here and now. Exactly the same way that you want to be loved. So if your ego is causing you to turn your back on someone, let the little child inside of you, the heart of you, take command and reach out your hand. You can love louder, because love and you, because all you need is love. If I could read, this would work good. So our job is to love others without stopping to inquire whether or not they are worthy. You can decide to stick with love because hate is just too great of a burden to bear. And here are 10 ways to love. Listen without interrupting. Share without pretending. Speak without accusing. Enjoy without complaint. Give without sparing. Trust without wavering. Pray without ceasing. Forgive without punishing. Answer without arguing. And promise without forgetting. 10 ways to love. So simple rules to live by: just be a good person. Love who you can. Help where you can. Give what you can. Or a quote by my favorite human being: love is the absence of judgment. Don't you just love the simplicity of that profound idea? Because open hearts see love everywhere. And you can be the love that you never received. So what if we just love each other? Because love, it holds no grievances. Nose to nose. Oops. Love is always waiting at your threshold, so keep the door open. And when you are ready, invite it inside. There is love waiting for you, especially if you have a loving family. I love you more today than yesterday, because yesterday you really ticked me off. And my relationship status, I'm committed to inner peace, growth, self-love, and gratitude. So what I'm telling you is that I choose love, and you can too. If you'll bear with me here, I'm going to tell you a little story about how simple and easy this can actually be. You see, my older sister made a decision sometime in our childhood that our family wasn't big enough for the two of us. She evidently made it one of her life's mission to make my life miserable and to make sure that people didn't like me. She would tell horrible lies about me that I didn't know about at the time, but of course I found out later. I knew she was mean to me when our parents weren't around, but to me she was still my beautiful big sister. Beautiful, like blonde in a bikini, beautiful. And I was the tomboy, not afraid to get dirty, worked on cars with my boyfriends in my teen years, etc. But when I was in my 20s, I think that's the first time I remember someone telling me that she had said something about me. And when I asked her about it and asked her not to do that, she brushed it off and I let it go. Another 5 years or so later, I was on the phone with her husband and he said something to me over the phone and I said, "What are you talking about?" And he said, "Oh, I know all about you, how you lie about everything. If I said the sky was blue, you would swear that it was orange." And my jaw dropped. What? So soon after that, I called her and I asked her why she says things like that about me. And she defended her stand. And after the next time this happened, I asked if we could see a counselor or work this thing out because my father had died and now Mother only had the two of us. She said there was nothing to talk about and continued this behavior straight through to her death, where she made family not tell me that she had cancer and was terminal. Now, what does this have to do with love? I had every right to dislike her, to say bad things about her, but I never did. I just knew that loving her was the only way to handle it. For me. Upon hearing about her death and then confirming it, I was really sad. But I was sad for her, that she went to her deathbed carrying on whatever this was. I really never knew. But I loved her to the end. Well, that's not really true because I still love her. She's my beautiful big sister. So do you see my point here? You do not have to respond negatively to what people say or do to you or about you. You can choose love. So when it comes to family gatherings and what your initial reaction might be to an invitation, remember, this is the time right after a new moon. a time of change, a time of maybe reinventing yourself, a time of new beginnings. So the bottom line here is there can never be too many badass, open-hearted hippie warriors of love, and you can be one of them. And listen, if you've been lugging around with you any of the baggage that we talked about in this episode, and you'd like a foot up on making these kind of changes, request a copy of my free ebook called Feel Loved, Nurtured, and Supported. Learn how to accept these 7 free gifts from Mother Nature. Just send me an email at feellovedbook@harmonyenterprises.net. And remember, just live in harmony with the infinite wisdom that dreamed you into being. I want to thank you for joining me today, and until next time, I'm Carrie Fox with Harmony Enterprises, sending you a big hug. Bye for now.